Well, because you have a big meet coming up, right? In 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Next week, actually.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, man. So, and that's in Nevada, right? Mm-hmm. So what's that all about? Because, I saw that bit about you guys on the news, and, how long has your team been training up for this?
For most of us, probably around 16 weeks. That's when I started prepping for it. But one of the coaches at Iron Soul, Myra, she put together a team of all women, and I think she's been wanting to do that for a while. Just get a group of all women and do a meet together. And I don't know how often these all women meets happen, but one of the powerlifting federations, the WRPF, they're the ones putting together that meet in Las Vegas. And so she pretty much got people from the gym to asked who was interested, and a lot of us, it's 30, I think the total number of us is 30 women that are going.
Shit.
So it's a lot of people. I think we're taking up either half or close to half of the women there. And
this is my, not to cut you off, this is my lovely girlfriend.
Sorry.
Hi.
Everything okay?
You guys.
Oh, hi. Missed you.
Hi.
Okay, so there's 30 of you doing this, and so the competition itself is all women. It's not just there's a women category; it's all women in its entirety. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it'll be pretty cool to just be around a bunch of chicks lifting heavyweight. Because the two that I've done before have been men and women. So, but yeah, all of us are trained by different coaches at the gym. Myra coaches a good amount of the people that are competing. And there's a few more coaches. So yeah, all of us are pretty exhausted by now. We're just ready to do it.
I could not even. So what is your training like? Because all I know, the one thing I've trained for in my life, I just lost weight. An exuberant amount of weight, and just had to stick to a diet for about 5 months. So what does training look like for you?
So when I started out, it was, so I did an evaluation with my coach because I had never been formally coached before. Jake coached me. But I was
that went swimmingly,
But I was mostly focusing on just deadlifting at that time.
Well, from what I saw on your Instagram, you won a meet, right? You placed somewhere to meet?
Well, I technically placed, but when you're one of the only people competing in your category, your weight class and your age, it can be pretty easy to win
Hey, a win's a win.
Or to get
Yeah.
Yeah, I count that as a win.
That is a win.
Yeah, a win is a win.
And I mean, you won the night of the living deadlift thing, and then you placed in the deadlift only, right? And then you won your was it first place in that last meet in Farmington?
No.
Is that a win as well?
They have gyms in Farmington?
Yeah, we drove out to Farmington.
Yeah. That's about the only thing that they had.
Oh my god.
It was about 2
that
blocks.
And a bar.
Yeah, it was about 2 blocks of
next to
buildings.
each
Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on how you compete in the meet, because you can literally do there's a deadlift only category, there's a push pull, which is bench and deadlift only, or you could do the full meet, which is squat bench deadlift. So someone, let's say, competing in a full power meet, they could win the overall best total. They add up their squat bench deadlift and they have the highest total, but maybe they're deadlifting less than someone who's competing in a deadlift only category. So it kind of depends on how you're looking at it, I guess. Most people will compete in the whole thing. They'll do a full meet, so that they'll prep for the full meet. So they'll be doing all 3 of the lifts every week. So when I started, I was doing 4 days a week. I would have a squat day, a bench day, and a deadlift day, and then a dynamic day where you work on speed and you do a bunch of kind of other, like you're using like resistance bands or chains, or you might be doing like core. I was doing like pull-ups on that day, just stuff like that. And then you have different accessories thrown on each day. So like on a deadlift day, I would do like my regular deadlift, and then you start out doing like higher reps, and then you start tapering it down the closer you get to the meet, and you're adding more weight and doing less reps. So,
right.
Yeah.
So stuff like, I understand the like the meaning behind using like bands, like the resistance bands, like the deadlifts.
Mm-hmm.
But, so why do you use chains? And that has never clicked with me. Is it just to look? It looks fucking cool. Don't get me wrong. You look cool.
I actually haven't used chains yet on my deadlift. I've used chains doing lunges, like back lunges with dumbbells, and that was to be more stabilized, I guess, and to focus on like staying upright and not like leaning too far forward, or because it really makes you focus on like being balanced. Because if you're just like lunging regularly, a lot of people will just have like, they might like go from side to side, or like they might be leaning too far forward or back.
Oh no, I've definitely like lunged around the gym like Gumby a couple times for sure, but I've never thought about using chains. That's funny.
Yeah, people start incorporating resistance bands and chains. So like resistance bands, I know a little bit more about because I do those almost every week at this point. But so some people might be weak at the bottom of a movement, like specifically talking about deadlifts. Like some people might be weak at the bottom, and some people might be weak with locking it out. Like they have no problem getting it off the floor, but when it gets to that like middle point and you're needing to bring it all the way up, they might struggle with that. With deadlifting in the sumo stance, it's more common for people to have a harder time getting it off the ground. So, like, my coach saw that I was, like, not getting it off the ground fast. And so that's, I think that's one of the reasons he had me doing resistance on there. And just to get, like, when you're practicing with resistance bands with lower weight, you're trying to get it up fast. So if you're practicing fast with a resistance band on top of that, then when you do it without the resistance
it's just going to shoot right up.
Yeah, that's the point. So... but chains, I haven't gotten to do that.
Chains is the same idea, because like the more of the chain that's on the ground, like when you start a deadlift, all the chains are going to be on the ground. So there's no weight at the bottom. But as you lift it up...
it's just incremental.
It's accommodating resistance is what they call it. So there's like more weight as you move the bar up. So when you're locking out, there's the most weight. People use them for squat and bench as well, I think. But I think deadlift is kind of where like most of the chain would be on the ground, and that's kind of the idea.
Right.
And fix your lockout or whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought of it that way. So, okay, that was going to be one of my questions. So when you're deadlifting, are you doing like a standard stance, or are you doing a sumo pull? Or does it matter what you do? Like, is there regulations on like... Because, I mean, it would make more sense to do sumo, right? Because your range of motion is cut into like kind of like a third of it off.
Well, that's what a lot of people think, and that's why a lot of people say that sumo is cheating. Haters. Haters.
I've never said that.
I know. He pulls conventional, but a lot of people think it's cheating because it looks like the range of motion is a lot shorter, but it really just depends on your like measurements and your, like, someone could have really long arms and like a really short torso or really short legs. But we were just watching a video. I forgot what that guy's name is, but he did like an experiment where he had a bunch of different heights of people with different like arm lengths and torso lengths and leg lengths lift the same amount of weight, sumo and conventional. And it really just depended on the person whether they had a shorter range of motion or not, because some of those people had a shorter range of motion lifting conventional. So, it kind of depends, but the short answer is it's cheating.
Oh, come on. It is not cheating. I've tried pulling sumo, and I think it's hard.
It's weird. I tried doing that this morning, actually. I was like, I have a little extra time on before I have to get into the appointment, I'm going to try it out, and I just scarred up my shins. I'm like, this is not
yeah.
fun. I just went right back to conventional because that was not fun.
I think it's difficult. I think there's a lot more technique involved. I think when you're conventional deadlifting, like the way I do it, I can kind of just fucking like try to just brute force it up with a conventional. But if you try to do that with sumo, like I've tried to do it with sumo because I'm like I had the same thought process. Like, oh, it should be way easier because less range of motion, and it's really not. You have to know how to like move your body in that way, and I can't do it. Like honestly, I've tried, can't do it.
Well, not only that, I feel there's a lot more flexibility involved with sumo.
Oh, for sure.
Because like if I do more than like 3 reps on sumo, just my inner thighs just are on fire. My inner thighs and my hamstrings, they just want to give out.
Yeah, it definitely. I make sure that I warm up like before deadlifting every time. If I just went into it like without trying to open up my hips and like,
which is what I did.
Yeah. I do this thing where I just like stand and I like
bring it
around town.
Yeah.
And then you could do like leg swings, and then you could do different like stretches on the ground where you're like opening up your hips more. But yeah, if you're not used to it, it'll definitely be harder. But if you practice that, maybe you'll find out that that's what you prefer. And some people can lift heavier.
Yeah. I don't know. Because like I posted a video of me deadlifting. My buddy actually texted me like, "Dude, you're doing it all wrong." And he taught me like better like foot stance, and it's giving me more like drive to get it up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I do stretch before my workouts. Like I'll do like leg swings or like this hip abductor movement I saw on YouTube. But like that's something I definitely need to work on because I just do it to make myself feel good. I'm like, yeah, you stretched. Good job. You did the thing. You checked the box. How long have you been powerlifting for? Like, when did that like click in your head? Like, yeah, I'm gonna try this out.
Well, I don't think it started out as like I want to powerlift. I think it just started out as I like this deadlifting thing. Let's just keep doing this. But maybe a little over, like definitely over a year.
Probably 2 years maybe that you've been like deadlifting. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I did the meet that I did in January. Like right before then, I hadn't really been practicing squat or bench, and maybe like 2 months before the meet in January is when I started.
Because that's when I was writing her program, and I have no experience doing anything like that. No formal training at all, you know. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of like had her do what I normally do, and that's basically all just like deadlifting and whatnot, you know. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think is over 2 years. I know it's like the quarantine is kind of like when like we really started lifting because we kind of started on this together, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's awesome.
I think it's like over quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah, we were working out. We lived in Colorado at the time, and his sister she runs a gym out of her house. Well, she's a dietitian and like a strength coach. So she's like a legitimate. She has like
credentials. Yeah,
credentials. She wasn't just like running a sketchy like personal training thing. I didn't mean to make it sound that way, but like when you say out of your garage, it like there's more to it. Like her and her husband like completely converted it to like an actual gym. Like they had the gym like the black flooring in there. They have like Rogue squat racks. They had all sorts of really good equipment. So they really switched it up in there, and so we started in there, and then we got really used to working out at home.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard to get back into working out in a regular gym, just being around people again.